When we talk about the deadliest crash, India never comes to our mind. But let's learn more today on the deadliest plane crash that happened in India. Exactly 28 years ago, India's worst mid-air collision took place on the small village located in Haryana named Charkhi Dadri with 349 fatalities and 0 survivors. On 12th November 1996, Saudia's Flight 763, a Boeing 747, was flying en route from Delhi, India to Tehran, Saudi Arabia. And same time, a Kazakhstan Airlines Flight 1907 and Ilyushin 76 was flying en route from Chimkent, Kazakhstan to Delhi. Let's dive deep into what exactly took place that day. Saudia's Flight 763, carrying 312 occupants, departed from Delhi at 6:32 pm, and simultaneously Kazakhstan Airline 1907, carrying 37 occupants, was descending to land to Delhi. Both the flights were controlled by approach controller VK Datta. At 6:34 pm, Datta gave clearance to Kazakhstan plane to descend to 15,000 feet from the destination airport. At 6:39 pm, the Saudia flight reported reaching at 14,000 feet and requested for higher altitude. Datta instructed them to hold their altitude, to which Saudia's first officer Khan confirmed. At 6:39 pm, the Kazakhstan had reported reaching at 15,000 feet, but were actually at 16,348 feet and were still descending. Datta advised Kazakh about the identified traffic at 12 o'clock and to report if it is in sight. In less than a minute, at 6:40 pm, United Air Force cargo flight reported a big explosion at 2 o'clock. Datta attempted to contact both the aircrafts but was left with no response. Two aircrafts collided with each other. The left wing of Kazakh sliced the left wing of Saudia's 747, and both their vertical and horizontal stabilizers sliced into each other, affecting the loss of control of both the aircrafts and the fire from the left wing of Saudia's 747. And Kazakh and Saudia's 747 crashed on the side. Both the aircraft wreckage, along with 349 people's debris, was sighted at Dhani and Birohar village of Haryana, India. The investigation was set up for the crash, finding that the ultimate cause was failure of Kazakhstan Airline to follow the ATC instructions. But this crash had several other factors which later changed the course of aviation in itself. First, we need to consider that by the time of 1996, English was not prioritized as the primary language for communication. The lack of English language skill of Kazakhstan aircraft pilots confused them into understanding the ATC commands. The second here is the calculation in same metrics. Indian air controllers complained that Kazakhstani pilots sometimes confuse their calculations because they are accustomed to using meter and kilometer in distance, while most other countries to use feet and nautical miles respectively for aerial navigation. The third here is the lack of awareness of Kazakhstan flight operating crew. First officer and also possibly the captain had misunderstood the final call from Datta and assumed that 14,000 feet was their own assigned altitude. Further, the radio operating crew rep did not have his own flight instruments and had to look at the pilot's shoulders for a reading, which likely limited his own awareness of the altitude. Also, the pilots were reported fighting over the turbulence, which was actually a cumulus cloud. Rep had realized that they were not at 15,000 feet and had asked the pilot to accelerate the throttle to climb, which actually led to the crash. Had the Kazakh's airplane not climbed, the collision have totally been avoided. The fourth is Delhi's Indira Gandhi Airport that did not had the surveillance radar which provided extra information such as aircraft's identity, altitude by reading the transponder signals. Instead, the airport had a primary radar which produces readings of distance and bearings but not of altitude. In addition, the departure and the arrival both share a single corridor with the civilian aerospace of New Delhi. Most areas have separate corridors, one for the departure and one for the arrival. But the airspace of Delhi in 1996 had only one civilian corridor because much of the airspace was taken by Indian Air Force. Due to this crash, the air crash investigation report recommended few changes to the air traffic procedures and infrastructure in Delhi. First of which was separation of inbound and outbound aircraft through the creation of air corridors. Installation of secondary air traffic control radar for the aircraft altitude data. Third was the mandatory collision avoidance equipment on the commercial aircraft which were operating in Indian airspace. And the fourth was reduction of airspace over the New Delhi that was formerly under the exclusive control of Indian Air Force. Now that the Delhi airport was taken care of, there are many other factors which are changed by now, such as now we have TCAS, that is Traffic Collision Avoidance System, which is developed for avoiding the mid-air collisions like such that took place in Chakri Dadri. But still today, aircraft's deadly incidents takes place, like the recent one with the Alaska Airline. If you want to watch, you can check out the video in the description. And that's all for today. I hope you had learned something new today and see you all in the next video.